Hello and welcome to the Elephant and Bear podcast, the show dedicated to sharing interesting tales from around Coventry and Warwickshire. I'm your host Neil Young, and in today's show we welcome Steph McMahon. Steph McMahon is a financial planner based in Coventry. Steph, please can you introduce yourself to the audience?
Yeah, thanks Neil. Hi and thank you for having me on here. So I'm Steph McMahon, and I have basically lived in Coventry and Kenilworth all my life. I went to both Coventry and Warwick University and studied English literature and language, and then actually did a PGCE. So obviously put that to good use in my financial planning day-to-day job. And like many individuals in the Coventry area, I come from a good Irish Catholic family and currently based in the County Kindon area. So huge stereotype there.
Fantastic. And obviously, you know, Coventry and Warwickshire, what does the area mean to yourself?
I mean, I'm a huge history buff. In my spare time, I do love to study history, and I think the thing that always makes me, kind of have an affinity for the area is there's so much history that not everyone appreciates or is aware that it's there. You know, we know about World War II and the bombings of Coventry. But there's so much more to the area, and you can see it in, like the old buildings next to Spon Street, remnants of Cov Cathedral, and even just off the Far Gosford area. There's so much to uncover. It's a little hidden gem, really.
Yeah, definitely. There's lots of kind of hidden gems in Coventry and Warwickshire, which we'll kind of touch on a little bit later. And yeah, kind of interesting to kind of know you're a bit of a history buff. Obviously, kind of you grew up in Coventry and Kenilworth. So can you tell me about some of your kind of memories of that?
Yeah, I think my favourite Coventry memory is my dad took me shopping on the very rare occasion. Obviously my dad did, and we were looking for a sofa for our new house, and we went to city centre, and there was this tiny bookshop just near like the Iceland area, and he bought me this beautiful copy of The Hobbit because love reading, and my dad is a big Tolkien fan. So he brought me a copy of the book, and then we went to, TJ Hughes on the corner. And basically he just sat me down on one of the showroom sofas and just left me for, an hour to read while he was looking for something for our new house. And every time I go there, I just like around that area, just takes me back to that moment where I was learning, Frodo Baggins and Bilbo Baggins and all that. So I think that's a very strong memory of mine. And another one I have is going to one of those big Kenilworth Castle festivals, they have to celebrate an anniversary or what have you in the summer. And my mum took me one year, and there was this big kind of jousting tournament thing. And I remember this person dressed up as a dragon, and it terrified me. I couldn't have been more than 6, and I was just crying my eyes out, and I just about anything other than this dragon. And it I just can't stop thinking about it whenever I go near it. The trauma of being a child and not understanding acting, really. So those are two, albeit strange, but strong memories I have of the area.
Fantastic. Yeah, this is why I kind of love doing the podcast and stuff, because never can you kind of expect that kind of two childhood memories would be going sofa shopping and obviously kind of the dragons of Kenilworth Castle. So yeah, absolutely kind of brilliant, and obviously clearly kind of a mind that kind of likes the the creative and the imagination with all of that. So no, fantastic, Steph. Okay, brilliant. So obviously, you touched on kind of Tolkien there, which obviously kind of got links to kind of
Yeah.
Birmingham, and obviously Warwickshire is famous for Shakespeare.
Yeah.
However, if you were working for the tourist board for Coventry and Warwickshire, what would be the focus of your promotions?
Oh, I mean, I think everyone's just going to realise it's going to be the history, obviously. I think there's snippets like you touched upon Shakespeare. Everyone knows, Shakespeare, Stratford upon Avon, and that's as far as it goes for a lot of individuals. And I think the significance politically in the past of Coventry and Warwickshire, I think is important, especially now. There's a lot of political upheaval with what's going on at the moment. I think it would be very interesting to draw links to the past. I mean, Coventry and Kenilworth were used as bases for Parliament during the War of the Roses. Mary Queen of Scots was held hostage in Coventry Castle. Those kind of links and ties to the history, I think, need to be more, and they're exciting and interesting. And I think there needs to be a bigger push. Shakespeare, is a fantastic representative for the area, but there's a lot more to uncover and appreciate. And if you like that, look at everything else that inspired Shakespeare to write what he did.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, there's, like I said, there's lots of different points in history where kind of the area has been important politically. We've got lots of things. So yeah, fantastic. And if you were looking to the future now and you're looking to improve the area, and I was to give you a fictional £100 million, unfortunately I can't give you the real £100 million, what would be the focus of your money? Where would you spend that?
Well, being a financial planner, I'm all about diversifying a portfolio and investing for the future. So I think, when I trained as a teacher, the reason why I went and thought that would be a field for me was, I think education is key and pivotal for a lot of people, be it academic or not. So I do think there needs to be classes on, basic adulting, to put it in a really basic sense. Like financial education. I didn't know what an ISA was till I was 19, 20, 21. I didn't know how to sit for an interview or apply for a job. So I think things like that are important. How do you manage your bills? I think things like that should come into play, and set up programs for children who aren't academically inclined. There's so many great classes out there already, but I think there's always room for improvement. I think martial arts is always a a great area to go in. I myself was put into judo at a young age, and you do learn discipline, respect, things like that. It is important to invest in the younger generations of Coventry and Warwickshire, because we want them to stay. We want them to create that generational aspect, which is so important in this area. And I think it's time to focus less on the aesthetics and supporting the generations that are coming after us, really, because there's already Coventry's come up so far, even since I was a kid. I remember when the Godiva statue had a road going around it, and look at it now, and the university is just come on leaps and bounds since I was there. We don't need to improve on what's going on, from a superficial perspective. We need to look deeper and make it, somewhere people can be proud of, of their city more so than they already are.
Please excuse this brief interruption. This podcast is made possible by Plan with Neil. Plan with Neil is an independent financial advisor from Coventry, helping people improve their financial well-being by supporting them with retirement planning, life insurance, and much more. Please check out the website planwithneil.com and book a free discovery session today. Now, back to the podcast. Fantastic. So really kind of like leveling up the city by investing in the people, by giving them the kind of the right financial education or the right skills, whether it's kind of trade skills or obviously kind of utilizing universities or apprenticeships or anything to make sure that the people in the Coventry have got the best opportunities. Would that be fair to say?
I think so. And then the support for those who are less fortunate. We do see many people who are struggling and need a bit of guidance, if they're removing themselves from horrible relationships or struggling to find somewhere to live. Perhaps we need to do a bit more to support those people, and then that kind of creates a culture of giving, essentially, and the city becomes safer and happier and people want to stick around a little bit longer.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, I like that idea. Yeah. Okay, fantastic. Thinking about people that you might associate with Coventry and Warwickshire, is there one specific person that comes to mind, Steph?
Oh yeah, I mean, I lived in Kenilworth between I was 5, I think, when we moved to Kenilworth, and then I only left last year. But I've always associated Robert Dudley to the area because he obviously owned Warwick Castle, was the Earl of Warwick, and I read up on the parties he used to throw for Elizabeth I, and it was quite impressive, I must say. I think he did probably need a financial advisor to help manage his spending habits, but he's just someone. Whenever I think of Elizabethan era, and I think of Robert Dudley, I just go straight to Kenilworth Castle and the area. Just first person off the top of my head, always.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, and such played such a pivotal part around kind of the Elizabethan era and kind of the area's role in the country at that time as well,
and the scandals as well. Let's not forget the scandals. Did he kill his wife? Did he not? We're not sure. It's a great whodunit.
Fantastic. And in terms of your favourite place around Coventry and Warwickshire, is it TJ Hughes and the sofa shopping, or is it somewhere else?
Oh well, I think I've moved on from TJ Hughes, I'm afraid. I mean, I do have a couple of favourite places. I mean, I have a grandmother who lives in Leamington, and when we were younger, we used to walk across the fields and go to the Saxon Mill in between Leamington and Warwick, which is just a beautiful little hotspot for lunch or walks. And I've always loved Warwick. They have a great little market, and you get to see the canal boats. So I would say Warwickshire would definitely be the Warwick town, essentially. And then in Coventry, I have a fondness for the Pizza Hut next to the precinct. I spent a lot of time in there with my friends, and also the Earl of Mercia. That is a favourite Coventry place of mine. I spent a lot of my uni days there. So.
Fantastic. I can see a theme emerging there.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously, kind of there's some kind of your favourite places in Coventry and Warwickshire. Any hidden gems that you'd recommend to people that are visiting the area?
Yeah, so I took my family on Saturday. Actually, there's on Corporation Street. There's this gorgeous little microbrewery that does like really different kind of beers and lagers called Ops L'Amour, just next to the Belgrade, which I really enjoy going there. And then in Leamington, there's Leamington Spa. There's a beautiful restaurant at the top of the parade called La Capola. And we go there for very special occasions. And it's just absolutely stunning. It's like walking into a little fairy world. I think they're absolute hidden gems. And then if you're a magpie like myself, there is a small silver shop called Antigo in Kenilworth that do just the most beautiful silver jewelry. I've spent a small fortune in there myself. So I would say they're my top 3 hidden gems, I think.
Fantastic. So you've got it all covered there. You've got the food covered, you've got the drinks covered, and then the shopping, not necessarily in that order.
No, great day out though, I must say.
Yeah. Brilliant. Okay. And is there anything that you miss from the past in Coventry and Warwickshire, Steph?
I'm not too sure. I think the one thing I miss is not having to drive on the ring road, because it terrifies me every time I get on it. It's such a scary road, and I always get very stressed as I'm about to go onto it. So, but to be honest with you, I think especially Coventry, it's come so far in the past 20 years, and it's a very different city. And I think what it's been done so far, apart from the ring road, has just bettered it. So I don't think there's anything in particular I do miss. I'm excited to see where it goes as a whole.
Yeah, I think definitely over the last 15, 20 years, a lot has kind of changed for the better in kind of Coventry and Warwickshire in the main. And it'd be interesting to see kind of what the next 15 to 20 years bring as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
And if you were to describe Coventry and Warwickshire to outsiders, or kind of maybe kind of relatives in Ireland or anything like that, how would you describe Coventry and Warwickshire to people?
Yeah, so the way I describe it to my family in Belfast is it's next to Birmingham. That's always an easy one. Anyone outside of England, it's next to Birmingham. But I think Coventry is really, which I kind of like, because I feel I'm very much like this kind of attitude. It's what you see is what you get, essentially. There's no pretense. There's no trying to be something that they're not. We're a city, it's an industrial city, that's the basis of it. And we're just, trying to move forward and do the best we can and work at it. Clearly it's a city that reflects a lot, because why else would there be constant improvements? Look at the train station, it's a great city because there's always something to do, and there's the recognition that we need to improve it. But it's such a dichotomy at the same time. You've got the hidden cobblestone roads near the cathedral, but then you've got the industrial and business parks around the edges. It's modern, it's old, it's big, but not overwhelming. It's interesting.
Yeah. Like I say, there's definitely so many different sides to the area, and sides to kind of Coventry in particular, in terms of the new versus the old, with the cathedrals and the cobbled streets, and then over the generations of obviously kind of a large kind of Irish population, Indian, Pakistani, kind of West Indian, all these kind of different kind of populations that have kind of come through over the years to kind of shape and continue to kind of mold and evolve the city. And also that will continue to happen as well. We've got a lot of the international students we get to the city now as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what I actually do love about Coventry is, I'll go down to the 4 Ps and, everyone is the exact same, in the sense of, our parents are Irish, we're over here, what's the crack? And, I have a best friend whose parents are Indian, and, he's first generation. Is it first generation? Yeah. He's kind of in the same boat as me, and there's always been like community aspect to Coventry, And I think that's fantastic. I think it's important to have that, especially in cities.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, let's move on to some quick fire questions now then, Steph. So, first of all, can you tell me your favourite Warwickshire town?
Kenilworth. Obviously.
No doubt about that. Straight answer. No conferring. Okay, perfect. Okay, and do you prefer the Memorial Park or Coombe Abbey?
Coombe Abbey.
Okay.
For sure.
West Orchards or Cathedral Lanes?
Cathedral Lanes.
Okay. Is that for the food and drink? Is it?
Yeah, it's just food and drink, and I think it I like off the beaten track. I like that kind of element, a little quieter.
Yeah, fantastic. Obviously, you talked about being a history buff earlier on. So, do you prefer Warwick Castle or Kenilworth Castle?
Oh, Kenilworth. For sure. There's a bit more an imagination element to it. Warwick is fantastic. I've nearly fallen off the walls many times. So that was an interesting experience. Got chased by a peacock as well once. That was even weirder. And it's all done up, and they can give you the sense of how it would have been, and the dungeons are terrifying. But Kenilworth Castle, because it's in ruins, gives you the opportunity to use your brain a bit more. And I love that, trying to imagine, they say this is the kitchen, so how would that look, and the views from the top are just absolutely breathtaking as well.
Fantastic. And if you had to choose which festival to go to, would you choose Godiva Festival or the Moto Fest?
Oh, Godiva for sure.
Fantastic. And the Herbert Art Gallery or the Transport Museum?
This was a hard one because I'm not into cars, and I do find art galleries quite difficult to be patient in, but I would go the Herbert Art Gallery. It is quite good there.
Okay, fantastic. And then the final quickfire question is, do you prefer the old cathedral or the new cathedral?
Old cathedral all the way.
Okay, fantastic. I was probably expecting that answer based on what you said so far.
I know. It was also in the Nativity film, can I just point that out?
Is that another thing that holds fond memories for yourself, is it, Steph?
Absolutely, yeah. They filmed some of the Nativity down my road, and I remember coming back from summer holiday when they were filming, and I was going, what is going on here? And Bilbo Baggins has officially been down a road I walk, practically every single day when I was at my parents' house. So, it was, and it's a great film, fantastic film. Watch it every year at Christmas.
Fantastic. Yeah. Unfortunately, we haven't got the scenery to film The Hobbit or The Lord of the Rings, but Nativity and its many sequels.
Yeah, exactly.
Brilliant. Well, that's all we have time for on today's podcast. Steph, where can our listeners find out more about yourself?
Yeah, so I have my LinkedIn page, Steph McMahon. That is, if any of you are wrestlers, is exactly like the wrestler from WWE. That's always my kind of go-to explanation of my name. So I have a LinkedIn page. We also have the company I work for's website, www.futureperfectfs.co.uk. And we also have a Facebook and Instagram page, and we're fairly active about what's going on, tips and tricks, and our charity work we do as a company as well.
Fantastic. Definitely worth a follow then.
Yeah, absolutely. We're doing Pink Shirt Wednesdays at the moment.
Is that for a particular cause, is it, or is that just
breast cancer? So we did, apparently all the paraplanners one day rocked up in a pink shirt on a Wednesday, and taking inspiration from Mean Girls, decided we would have Pink Shirt Wednesdays. So it's 50p if you wear a pink shirt, £1 if you forget. So, but it's all going to a good cause, breast cancer awareness, and it's good to have that.
Brilliant. Yeah, sounds like a good idea. Brilliant. Well, thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
look forward to speaking to you again soon.
Absolutely. Thanks for your time, Neil. Thank you for having me.
Cheers, Steph.